Very good morning, students. In this particular session, Dr. Sangamita Das is going to talk about gender and gender differences and how it affects the workforce diversity in a particular organization. So, let us first talk about what is actually gender because mostly there is a confusion between gender and sex. Sex is a biological concept. If we talk about gender, it refers to the social relationships, the roles and responsibilities of men and women, the expectations held about the characteristics, aptitudes, and likely behavior of both men and women, that is, the femininity and the masculinity, that are learned and change over time and vary within the cultures. So, gender is actually the range of characteristics pertaining to and differentiating between masculinity and femininity. Depending on the context, these characteristics may include biological sex, that is, the state of being male, female, or a transgender, gender based social structures, that is, the gender roles, or gender identity. So, traditionally, people who identify as men or women or use masculine or feminine gender pronouns are using a system of gender binary, whereas those who exist outside these groups fall under the umbrella term non binary or genderqueer. So, gender is actually one of the universal dimensions on which the status differences are based, and it is a social construct specifying the socially and culturally prescribed rules that men and women are to follow. Now, if we say that what is the worldview of gender or how the world views the term gender? So, if we talk about men or we talk about women, so the gender worldview is problem. First one is problem solving, that is ventilating versus curing. So, women actually often simply want to express themselves, while men often want to solve the problems. So, men are more problem solving. Second one is communicating needs and desires. So there is a difference between women and men when they want to communicate their needs and desires. It is hinting versus telling. Like women often hint about their desires and needs. They do not tell it directly. While the men, they will be telling directly about their needs and desires. The third one, understanding a situation and relating. So that is privacy versus gossip. So the notion is that men value privacy and women value gossip. Actually this is outdated, but more women are more likely than men to gossip because of their more frequent communication. The fourth one is general approach to situations, competition versus cooperation. So the gender world view is that the men often want to compete, while the women often want to cooperate. So these are some of the gender world view that the world held holds about men and women. Then we have various theories of gender development. First is social learning theory, then you have the cognitive development theory, then you have the gender schema theory. So we start with the first one, that is the social learning theory. So the proponents of this particular theory believe that parents as distributors of reinforcement reinforce appropriate gender role behavior. So it is the parents who are actually reinforcing the behavior, that how the gender, a particular gender should behave. The second one is cognitive development theory. This is actually has been derived from Kohlberg's speculations about gender development. Children begin the process of acquiring gender appropriate behavior. Then we have the third theory, that is gender schema theory. It helps a child to develop gender identity and formulate an appropriate gender role. So the schema is a mental blueprint for organizing information, and children develop and formulate an appropriate gender schema. So these were the theories of gender development. Now we talk about what is gender stereotyping. So, gender stereotyping is actually defined as the beliefs humans hold about the characteristics associated with the males and the females. So, what are the main problems in gender stereotyping? When the characteristics associated with a particular gender have a negative image. When a unique individual is assumed to have all the characteristics associated with or her gender. So, these are the various problems. Actually, we can see that we have certain thoughts in our minds that this particular gender will behave in a particular way. The men will behave in a particular way and the women will behave in a certain way. So that is the main problem with gender stereotyping. And this gender stereotyping affects when it is actually when you associate something negative with a particular gender, so it hampers the work because of this gender stereotyping. Then you have gender ideologies, that is the attitude towards men and women's role. So traditional gender ideologies is maintain that men's sphere is work while and women's sphere is the home. So that we have a stereotyping actually towards it. So the first traditional gender ideology is that maintains that men sphere is work and women's sphere is home. So the implicit assumption is that men have greater power than women. Now if we talk about the egalitarian gender ideology, it maintains that power is distributed equally between men and women and that each group identifies equally with the same spheres. Then you have transitional ideology. So it is acceptable for women to devote energy to both work and family domains, but women should proportionally be more responsible for the home, and men should focus proportionally more their energy on the work. So that is the transitional ideology. Now, if we talk about the various gender issues in the workplace, what is the gender issue? Gender issues actually arise in the workplace in many instances, from day-to interactions to larger issues. If we talk about smaller issues, we can take the example of condescension or to female secretaries. If we talk about the large issues, resentment of women in management position. Mostly people do not wish to have women in the management position because it is a stereotyping thought that men are more active, they have more power, they're able to manage the things more properly. So these are some of the gender issues in the workplace. So in case a woman has much more ability, she may not be getting the same treatment as the man gets. So then it hampers the work of the workplace. So these are the various gender issues. So what is the cause of the gender equality? Mostly it is the implicit theories about the gender, that women should be at home and men should focus on work. The same is with the gender stereotypes. You already have a mindset that women should work, that women are of a particular type and men are of a particular type. Role expectations the same, that men are expected that they should focus more on the work outside the home, whereas the women should focus more on inside the home. Then you have cultures and traditions. So according to the various cultures and traditions, the work sphere of the men and women will be more or less. In some countries, you can say the women have more freedom. They can they can go outside and work. But in some cultures, the women have to be confined to the home boundaries only. So these are the various causes of gender inequality. Now, how does the gender affect the organization effectiveness? So, gender actually plays an important role in determining how individuals behave in an organization. So, males and the females have different traits. So, when they interact with each other, mixing traits creates a strong organization. Males focus on the logistics of the negotiation, while the women make the relationship strong with the parties and proceed the relationship on long-term basis. So, what are the benefits of gender diversity in an organization? So, then gender diversity actually means the proportion of male and female in the workplace. Diversity is beneficial to both organizations and the members. Diversity brings substantial potential benefits such as better decision making and improved problem solving, greater creativity, and more successful marketing to different types of customers. So, the diverse organization will be successful as long as there is sufficient amount of communication with them. The planning and implementing organizational system and practices to manage gender diversity so that potential advantages of diversity are maximized while its potential disadvantages are minimized. So, what are the challenges faced by women at the workplace? The first one is gender bias. So, we live in a male dominated environment where we give priority to the man than the woman. So, there is a continuous prejudice towards women abilities. gender stereotype views are there, then the women also have to face in gender stereotype. What will happen, the whatever efforts the women will be putting in, it will not be given much appreciation, whereas if the same thing is being done by the man, it will be appreciated. So that is the stereotyping views. Then the work life balance pressure is also there on the women. Women are expected to do manage the home as well as the outside work also, whereas the men are only expect to focus more on their work outside the house. Inside the house, they do not have to do anything. So this creates an work life imbalance for the women. So then there is lack of networking opportunities for a lady. The networking is much lesser than as compared to the male male counterparts. Then there is lack of encouragement. So the work of a woman is not much appreciated as compared to the men who are doing the same type of a work. Then what is the impact of gender in leadership? So if we talk about masculine leadership practices transactional leadership style. They're more autocratic and they're less democratic. So, masculine leadership is more assertive, it is more task oriented, it is more competitive, it's pessimistic, pragmatic, it is more self contained, individualistic, and persuasive. Whereas feminine leadership practices transformational leadership style, it is less autocratic and more democratic, it is flexible, people oriented, it is cooperative, it is optimistic. Females are feministic leadership is more feministic, they're more expressive, they're more collectivist, and they're more consensual. This is the impact of gender on leadership. Now, if we talk about glass ceiling is actually the invisible barrier that keeps women away from progressing in their careers. Women have to face many glass ceilings barriers in organization. So we can conclude in this gender and gender differences that women work collaborative because every man is part of the whole. On the other side, man can work independently without the assistance of others. So we deduce that women tend to be more supportive managers than man. But she has actually to face many challenges within the workplace. So all in all, we overestimate men and underestimate women. So, gender differences have been much in the news lately. Actually, it is a topic that exerts a powerful attraction, big-willing scientists and lay people alike. So, those who are of the opinion that the abilities and thus the responsibilities of women and men are innately different have been encouraged, asserting that the males have better motor and spatial abilities, whereas the females have superior memory and social cognition skills. So that the explanation lies in the different ways in which the brains of women are wired. So students, so this was about the gender and gender differences in cross-cultural management. So in the next topic, we'll come up with a new chapter, or you can say a new topic. So for today, this is all from my side. So we'll meet in the next class. Thank you, students. Have a good day.